Hi everyone. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you. What follows is a video that I initially posted about a year and a half ago in my members area and in my Patreon channel. And it's about what I call the superpowers of Jupiter and Saturn. I think this is very useful information to study, to ponder, and to keep in mind, because if you are able to tune into these planets, which are representative of probably the most important archetypes in human life, namely the expansion archetype, which is Jupiter, and the contraction archetype, which is Saturn, then you can optimize and maximize health, prosperity, and wisdom. In astrology, when studied proactively, one realizes that because Saturn, Jupiter, and the Sun are the key bodies in the solar system, there's a notion that the chart, your chart, my chart, anybody's chart, is the map of the solar system. It's a reflection of the solar system. So if the Sun is overwhelmingly huge, which it is, 99.86% of the mass of the solar system, and that last little bit, those last 14 cents that are left out of the $100 bill, are taken up by Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter is 10 cents, Saturn is 3 cents. There's only 1 penny left for Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Moon, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, asteroids, everything. So Jupiter, Saturn, enormously powerful compared to the other planets, enormously big. The Sun, of course, more hugely so. And in the astrology, the Sun is my vitality, my purpose, my will. To the extent that I can access that directly, great. You just do it. You apply your will, you unfold your purpose. The whole time, Jupiter and Saturn are very helpful toward connecting with the Sun. If you bring yourself to expressing what I call the superpowers of those planets, the very high end, the best way to express those planets. There are plenty of ways to express planets in ways that are counterproductive, all the way to being self-destructive. Obviously, you don't want to do that. You want to go to the high end. And so Saturn, being the contracting force, has its superpower as focus, because focus is a narrowing of the mind in this case. It's also the planet of work. The fact that you show up to do something consciously, deliberately, and you focus is actually what work is. This applies to any kind of self-work as well. So what one does is one shows up, brings focus in, and then ties it to Jupiter. Jupiter being the expanding force in the universe, literally. And so this is why, for example, people meditate. Meditation is a focus on something one is using, some kind of technique, which could be the breath, a mantra, it could be prayer, it could be a visualization. The intention is to bring in relaxation, peace and happiness, a sense of well-being. And at the same time, just a level below that, Jupiter is also that in us that envisions and understands. And you could say that the fact that I'm talking about this, or that anyone realizes it, is because Jupiter has reached that conclusion. Jupiter is the overmind, where Mercury is the mind that tunes into information, data, facts. Jupiter puts it together. So Jupiter understands, realizes, this is what's really happening. So then it forms an alliance with Saturn in order to really connect with the deeper self. So the point being, Saturn is the focus, Jupiter is the expansion. A level below that, it's the envisioning. Therefore, any kind of positive envisioning is also very helpful. This is why gratitude practices are so recommended in the New Age lexicon. And it's because if you just put your mind on any kind of positive energy, and gratitude is the notion that no matter what is happening in your life, there are always things that are working, things you can be thankful for. And once you do that, you're putting your mind in that place, and automatically your vibration changes. When your vibration changes, it means your Jupiter vibration in your chart is changing. Same with Saturn. That means whatever they're doing in your chart, they'll do it better. And when they do it better, they translate to sun energy and your life improves. This is what proactive astrology is. If you just look at it as a predictive tool, well, then things will keep happening approximately the way they've been happening up to this point. It's only when you take action. The word proactive implies action. Now, as it turns out, even when you are doing something like meditation, which is a kind of non-action, because if a person is sitting or lying down, just feeling their breath going in and out of their body, it appears that they're doing nothing. But that is itself also an action. It's impossible, to avoid action in some manner. That's the choice, therefore that's the action. It is true also, though, that connecting with really deep peace and happiness feels like non-action. It feels like one is totally receptive. That's wonderful. And the more time one spends there, ironically, the easier it is to then get up off the bed or off the couch or off the chair and then do things that feel good, feel natural, feel empowering. But all of this is tied together by the need to realize, since we're talking about a proactive model, you got to start. You got to launch the effort and begin, and realize too that another superpower of Saturn is momentum, meaning when you're doing something and you keep doing it day after day after day, you build a habit, which is what momentum is. There's a continuity. This is where Saturn on the downside can be very dangerous, because if a person crystallizes negative habits, they will then continue until you break them. And the best way to break them is to establish habits that are, in a sense, the opposite of that, good habits. And you don't have to think about doing a ton of this right away. If only you start with a few minutes daily. In fact, if a person did a minute per day, but they kept it up day after day after day, they will build a habit, and inevitably they'll do more because they'll realize that something important is happening. Right? And when I say a minute, for example, lie down on a couch and then put your mind on your breath, feel it moving in and out of your body, and intend that you're becoming more relaxed for a minute. That would be the absolute minimum in terms of starting this type of momentum. Of course, if you have some understanding of this and you feel like doing more, great. Or let's say you start today, you do a minute, tomorrow you do a minute, maybe Wednesday you do more, you do 5 minutes, but try to always do at least a minute for a period of time, like say a month or something along those lines, before you move up your demands on yourself to whatever it is, 2 minutes or 5 minutes. The important thing is to start and then continue and create this new vibration that then will mean Saturn, Jupiter, and Sun are working better in your chart, and therefore they'll translate to better effects in your life. It literally changes your fate.